What is up? What is up, y'all? It is your girl D, aka the Wellness Plug. Today's video is getting you right. I am getting you all the way together while you set up your new wellness plans. Okay? Y'all ain't ready. Let's go. I want you to picture the results of your life, right? Picture and envision your life as you truly want to live it. Think of the way you take care of yourself and how you show up for yourself, how you want to feel, all the things, right? And I'm sure that you got on TikTok and looked at all the different ways that you can make this happen. All these quick little fixes, these cute little hacks for giving you your best life. Not to say that the things on TikTok don't work, but your mindset needs to be right before you start adding more things into your wellness plans. I want you to picture a highway, right? It goes from point A to point B. On this highway, you see many different vehicles. You see a motorcycle, maybe a sports car, a minivan, a tow truck, a bus. You see all kinds of different vehicles driving down this highway, and all of them get to point A to point B. It might happen at different times, but they all get there. Okay? When you're planning for a trip, do you fly or do you drive? You do what makes sense. You pack the things that need to be packed. You plan the things that need to be planned out. You probably have a whole itinerary. You've looked at the time frames for flights and departures and figured out all of the things, right? You've gathered details about what the journey will entail. All that same energy goes into your wellness plan. Getting results can be done in multiple ways. Getting from point A to point B can be done in different ways. How you choose to get there, the vehicle that you choose to use, depends on your resources, like time and money. How badly you want to get there, that's your desire for change. And that determines if you take a sports car, a motorcycle, or a minivan. The question here is, what are you willing to invest into your wellness? Let's dive deeper. When I was the manager of a wellness spa, one of my key sales duties was getting the estheticians to bump up retail. In my head, retail for skincare is incredibly important. If you are into skincare, you know that the products that you use are a huge part of your journey as far as getting from point A to point B when it comes to the results you want from your skin. I educated the estheticians at my clinic about telling their clients how to have a total solutions mindset when it came to starting the skincare journey at our spa. Let's take a client with acne as our example because it's the best example to use, right? People who have acne would be better off investing in not only the services we have to offer, but retail to take home with them. Just like the gym, we know that one workout is not going to solve our problem, right? Same thing with skincare routines. Not just receiving the services, but also taking care of our skin at home helps us achieve the results that we want. A lot of the clients that came in that had severe acne or any just like noticeable acne, a lot of people had cystic acne. Acneic clients have a way deeper issue going on than just, oh, I have to wear makeup every day. It genuinely affects their self-esteem to a certain extent. There were teenagers that came in that were mortified to take yearbook photos. There were adults that just did not have confidence. Just like those people who don't have good teeth don't want to smile. It's the same emotional toil on them when you have acne. So if my estheticians were talking to a client with acne, they would be suggested to tell them, you need a full skincare regimen. That's cleanser, toner, serums, moisturizer, sunscreen. Period. Hands down, that's your full regimen. And most of those products would be tailored to specifically skin with acne. They would also need to book a couple of appointments with that esthetician. Would I rather do a 60-minute or a 90-minute? That's up to you. A 90-minute service has more treatments. They can do extractions for a longer time, so they would get the most out of their appointment, but it's more expensive and it takes more time. Some people don't have that. Some people barely have any time at all, and they'd be better off booking chemical peels. The customization of a wellness plan purely depends on the client's investment flexibility, what resources they're working with, money and time, how much they're willing to invest in it. Some people would only be able to get a cleanser and maybe one other item. They would tell them, okay, why don't we get you a cleanser and a serum so the serum can do what it does with the acne, and in the meantime use this while you're waiting to get your moisturizer. But eventually you're going to need a full regimen. The appointments they would book would need to be booked, systematically, repetitively, every week, bi-weekly, monthly. And they would have to figure out what their client would need versus what they could do and how they could work around any obstacles. All of these things kind of work into what vehicle you're using to get down the highway. Following the total solutions mindset allows you to hop in a sports car. If you can't get in a sports car, to at least get on the motorcycle so that you're not moving at a pace that's too slow for the results that you want at the time that you want. Now, granted, everything takes its time. Point A to point B is still going to take whatever time it takes. But how much you decide to invest in it does matter. There's a lot of people that would rather save money, so they decide to take the bus. And that's fine. But understand that you will have a period of waiting that is longer than what it could have been. When you have to invest less money, you can also look for other ways around it. Like, again, with the acneic client, they can make a lot of dietary changes, drinking more water. It could be simple hacks like that till they're able to afford a better vehicle. I have this saying, right? It's put that ish on paper and say it out loud and then read it to the class. If I wrote down why I wanted change and said it out loud to someone, they would probably develop sympathy, maybe even have empathy for my situation and understand why I want to make the changes that I want to make. Sometimes you have to read that out loud to yourself and remind yourself why you want to make the changes you want to make. The clients would be bawling at the front desk because I hate how I look when I look in the mirror. But then the same client would not leave with the proper retail to take care of their skin at home. You have to decide why you want to change and how badly you want the change. And then make the proper investment that makes sense. The same way that y'all will go to Miami and drop a bag on those yacht parties and club cover fees and all that because you want to have an experience in Miami, that same energy needs to be put forth investing in your skincare if you truly feel some type of way about your skin. How you feel about yourself is directly related to how you show up for yourself. Now, when you seek professional help in a certain area of wellness, it's almost like when you go to the car dealership and they give you a car with GPS in it, or maybe you take an Uber sometimes. It's like letting someone help you get to where you're going. Maybe you picked up a ride, right? Seeking help is not anything to be ashamed of. And it definitely helps people get from point A to point B more efficiently and probably a little bit safer in certain instances, right? As a wellness coach, I would do the exact same thing for people when developing their wellness plans. It's like having me get in the car with you for the first 10 minutes of the ride, and then, maybe I'm on FaceTime with you for the rest of the journey. It's like having me on the phone while you take your trip. I can help navigate your struggles and your difficulties. If you're sitting in traffic or if you had to take a detour, I can keep you company, encourage you, motivate you to keep going, because you will get to point B, baby. We will address what needs attention, what needs balance, and we'll talk about how to get there. Once we get a roadmap for how you need to move, we talk about what vehicle you want to use to get there. And that is essentially what developing a wellness plan is. Think about a journey in your life that you started trying to take or have tried to take in the past that would foster real change. And I want you to assess whether or not you genuinely invested the proper amount of time and energy into that change. Did you maybe cut corners on the financial aspects? Did you try to take a shortcut and skip a couple of steps? Did you maybe have the money to invest in a motorcycle but decided to buy the little hoopty instead and use the rest of your money to go get a margarita? Did you really just need someone in the car with you? Did you need a GPS system? Be completely honest with yourself, because understanding what could have been changed, where you could have made better decisions, or where you needed assistance is the first step into laying out that roadmap and deciding who you want to be by the time we get to point B. Here's the thing about being in the wellness industry. Anything sales-wise that I was doing was for the benefit of the person receiving the service. I wasn't some sleazy car salesman, even though this analogy is hella about cars. I wasn't a sleazy car salesman selling you lemons like Matilda's daddy. I was selling people better life and health and mental clarity, relief. Oh my goodness, I loved my job. And it is such an honor to help someone have an aha moment about taking care of themselves and showing up for themselves and helping them serve their families and their friends and themselves better. It is an honor to be able to do that. A lot of people will use the excuse, I don't have time, or I don't have money. And a lot of the times, that means I'm not ready. As a salesperson, I don't have the money could be directly related to I don't want to invest in that. Because when people really, really want something, they find a way to buy it. I have plenty of friends that make sure they have the money to go to Starbucks in the morning, or make sure that they have the money for their next trip. But that gym membership and that yoga class and those therapy sessions, too expensive. And I feel you, boo. It's rough out here. It's a hard economy we are in right now. But if you found the time to get your Starbucks, that's what you truly cared about. And I'm not knocking the morning coffee, because y'all know I stay with mine. But call yourselves out. Call attention to where you have been investing in other things that are not the investments you need to make to get from point A to point B. Losing weight doesn't necessarily mean you have to get a gym membership, right? You could start with dietary changes and take a 10-minute walk every day. Again, it comes down to your two resources, time and money, and then your last one, your desire for change. So if I know I don't have the money to invest monthly in a gym membership, I know I can go to a free park. I can go on free YouTube. I know I can make better dietary decisions on my own without having to invest money I don't have. If you're too busy, buy a walking pad for your office. Find a way to get your steps in. There's always a solution. It's just maybe a different vehicle than what you thought you wanted to take. And honestly, the vehicle does not matter. It's getting from point A to point B. So I'm going to ask you again, what areas of your life do you truly want to change? And where are you actually investing in that change? I want you to determine if you are actually using your full resources to get there. And you know what? You can even lay out roadblocks. Maybe decide, I know I'm not getting here because my kid's always in my face when I'm trying to work out. And I've talked about this on the channel before. Either accept that your child will need to be part of your workout, or find a babysitter, or find a time for you to work out when they're asleep. There is always a solution, and it may not look like how we want it to look like, but a lot of times those are the best ways to get there. And so determine your why. Why do you want to get there? Because once you say your why, all that I don't feel like it or I don't want to do it this way typically does go out of the window. I want you to be able to live your best lives. But you cannot get there without being fully honest with yourself. And I mean, I can take this car analogy even further. Don't try to get a fancy sports car with time and money you don't have, right? Your desire for change may match the sports car. I look real cute in a sports car, okay? But if you cannot invest the money, or you really don't have the time, is there another vehicle that's almost as fast as the sports car? Is there a different way to get from point A to point B? This isn't about what everybody else does. This is about what you can do and what you're willing to invest. If it's losing weight, if it's anger management, if it's a peaceful home, decide what needs to be done and how you're going to get there. I know you guys can do it. In the meantime, make sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss any more videos. And I will see you guys for the next video.